Hey, Loan Atlas family, it's Josh Mettle, and I am here with Daryn Fillis, who is a Loan Atlas member who is executing at a very high level. And I want to interview him on what I'm kind of framing up as going from ground zero, meaning being brand new in this business just a few years ago, to last month, he served 9 families, helped 9 families into their new home. So first of all, Daryn, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Appreciate you. It's great to see you.
Oh, my pleasure. Anything I can do to give back to the community.
Thank you for that. You definitely are a giver. So let's frame this up. You entered the business, the mortgage industry in 2020. You really started kind of doing some consumer direct lead things. You fumbled around a little bit. October of last year, you go through the first boot camp and you really kind of find a path. And then that's led you to last month closing 9 loans in a still a very challenging market, brother. So tell us just a little bit about that path from October of last year, what you learned and what you started implementing that's made such a big difference for you.
Well, there's 2 major components for me from last October till now. And the first part is, sorry, something on my screen. The first part was learning how to speak to realtors. Like I needed a lead source. Now I was coming from a state of mind, like I'm just going to buy the leads in the consumer direct. And I realized quickly I didn't like that. And there was so much technology and so much investment to do that. And to do all that and say, I don't like it was like, that was a tough thing to like, okay, we're going to shut it down and move on.
Throwing money in the fireplace. It's not a good feeling.
Oh, and it was a lot. Like it was, well, I'll tell you, it was $250,000. Like it was a lot of building the tech, the call center, like all of this stuff. And then to realize very quickly, that's not the business I want to be in, was a reality check. But what it allowed me to do was to find like, I'm really passionate about the industry and there's a lot of area to disrupt this industry. And so there was a moment when I decided to shut it down till I found you guys. I was kind of like this lost, like soul little sheep, like trying to figure it out all by myself. You know,
I can't picture you as a lost sheep, by the way.
Well, I was lost because there's a lot of like, and then you learn about the industry. There's all these things like, what do I do? Where do I gravitate to? Yeah. And I saw you guys through an MBS Highway webinar and I'm like, those are my people. Like there was an immediate attraction to what you were saying and the value given to the consumer and really thinking about the consumer. That's what I was passionate about.
Love it.
That's where I saw the area for opportunity is to put the consumer, the client first. And my whole career is based on retail entertainment and branding and consumer experience. And I was like, okay, these are people that are executing on a consumer experience at a very high level that nobody that I had met my short period in the industry are doing. So, and what was fascinating to me is like, that boot camp that you guys came out with in October of last year, it's just like follow the map. I'm not sure if you can see this, but there's a map back there.
I see
which is my perfect mortgage process.
Oh, it's great.
And so I really, and I'm like, I love hiking and backpacking and stuff. So it's like all of this thing, it just kind of like meshed and gelled really well. And it was like, you guys just taught me how to go up the hill on 2 things. There's how to meet the realtor and how to communicate to them and present to them. I gave that talk in my homework and I'd never given a talk to realtors before. I've spoken publicly and stuff, so I wasn't worried about that, but I wasn't a subject matter expert by any stretch. You guys gave me the material and the information so quickly. I executed on it. And I'm not kidding, dude. I got a standing ovation from 30 realtors from the top Compass team in Los Angeles. And I thought, I think I reported back to you guys, like, is that normal? Like it was bizarre.
I've never gotten a standing ovation, so I could tell you crushed it.
Dude, it was crazy. And then I followed up immediately with the Bulletproof Buyer. I did them together. And I do those presentations together. Now it's the different presentation, which is the real estate professional of the future. I've been like, as soon as you guys released that, I think you did it on a webinar, Josh. I think you did that one. Yeah. As soon as you released it, I just made it my own and then ran with it. And it blows people's minds. Because nobody's talking like the way you're teaching us to talk. And then you have a Bulletproof Buyer presentation and I brought the realtors into that right away. I started doing that last year. So like this thing that you're teaching now isn't new to me, but you've given it in a way sets up the frame better to like why they need to be a part of this. And I use an analogy of like, when you go to BMW or Mercedes or fuck dude, if you go to Nissan or Honda, they don't give out three cards for who's going to give you the loan. They
Right.
send you to the back office to sign the paperwork.
Right.
And it's a more efficient process and a better experience for everybody involved. And what you're teaching is kind of like becoming the Mercedes Porsche of mortgage and real estate, and bringing the teams together to have a seamless client experience that I think Ryan talks about, it's the experience that the consumer needs to demand. They
Yes.
need to demand this because it's the right way to do it.
And if you're delivering that much value in these presentations and how you serve the customer before, during, and after the transaction, you become the de facto conversion arm of the real estate partner. And it's like I always said, it's better together. Like, I know I'm a better parent because there's mom and dad, and we're both laying down the path for that kid. If it was just dad or just mom, I wouldn't be as effective. And it's the same thing with the realtor and the mortgage advisor. If you're aligned and you're delivering this exceptional before, during, and after line of, or a layer of value.
Dude, it's insane. Like I've presented this so many times and the reaction is always the same. And I would not have had a clue. I kind of knew what I wanted to, I wanted to focus on experience. I had my lofty vision of what I wanted to provide to the community and to the clients and to realtors, but I didn't know where to start. So you guys gave me that, and it's so awesome. And I think the biggest value that I get right now is I get to talk to you. I get to talk to Ryan. Like, I've seen Ryan, you have so much collective knowledge that I'm a broker owner. I'm all by myself. I have nobody to bounce an idea off. I can call you, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's incredible for a user of the program to have access to those minds.
Well, kudos for you for executing, right? I mean, we can share all the information in the world, but if you're not an executor, it's not any good. So kudos for you for executing at a high level. And to your point, we've put together a group of faculty members inside the Loan Atlas that collectively have written $29 billion in production in their careers. That's personal production. That's not company production or team production. And if you think about that incredible amount of wisdom and experience, the goal is for us to curate this information in a way that you go from wherever you are now to the success that you want to be having in a fraction of the amount of time it would take you to figure it out, because we've already stepped in all those landmines. We've already fallen in all those pitfalls, and we can tell you how to circumvent those and get around them and fast track your way to success. So appreciate the kind words and really appreciate the way you execute. So let me just kind of net this out. You went to the boot camp, you learned a realtor presentation strategy as well as a client presentation strategy. Right. You executed the realtor presentation, and then through those relationships and that kind of impressive presentation that you gave, you started to build on those relationships, and you started to get referrals from those realtors, correct?
100%, 100%.
And then talk a little bit about how you're using the Bulletproof Buyer presentation and now what we're calling the NAR Bulletproof presentation, and talking about how you use those directly to the customer to increase conversion. So
it's you have this conversation with a customer using these tools and this deck, this presentation. Mm-hmm. And obviously I also, there's a dreams and goals call, which you guys taught me how to do. So I'm capturing a bunch of information. Dude, the first time, it's no joke, it's probably a year ago. The first time I gave that call, the client stopped me about 3/4 of the way through. He goes, his name is Rob. He goes, Daryn, I don't know if we're qualified enough to work with you. And I'd never given this before, so I didn't know. And so I'm like, I asked, why? Why are you saying that? And he goes, because you're asking us questions we've never even thought about that we didn't know that were important. Mm-hmm. And they said, thank you so much. And it took a year. We closed with that client 2 months ago.
Wow.
But because I asked them questions that they didn't know about, they opened up their eyes to start doing some research and talk to financial professionals and their trust and all of these things. That was just a phone call, blew their mind. And then when I did the Bulletproof Buyer, it's here's all of the data to give them the confidence to move forward or not. It's not even about selling. I'm not a salesman. I never have been. But when you can give them the information that's unbiased, it just shows them like the math does the talking for us. And sometimes it doesn't make sense, and that's great. We're actually doing a great service to people by not pushing them to do something that they should not do. But this just gives them the confidence to move forward. And when I brought a realtor into that, and I took a client from I don't know to I'm buying, dude, and then she talked to all of her friends in her office. Who do you think was getting all the leads? Like,
Yeah,
it is
of course
crazy powerful, dude.
Well, I love how you have just absolutely swiped and deployed everything from the dreams and goals call, which once you go through a dreams and goals call, like once a client goes through that with somebody like yourself, and then if they ever to recall another mortgage professional, it's like the difference between walking in a Holiday Inn Express and a Four Seasons. Like that differentiation of that experience is so vast that you almost don't have competition. And then you follow up with everything you learned in that dreams and goals call with this presentation deck that's basically customized to overcome their inhibitions, their challenges, their shortcomings, whatever the situation is. It's just like that jab cross 1-2 combo that is really spectacular, has spectacular results. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, you served 9 families last month. Do you know approximately what that volume was?
I don't. And I don't measure that because I don't want to fall into that category. I actually conscientiously just like don't care.
You're a family served guy.
Yeah, it's like how many people am I helping?
I love it, dude.
That's its impact. And I believe that. And these are things that Ryan talks about, in his talks. Like
Of course.
I think that we're measuring it. The industry does measure it the wrong way. I don't want to be incentivized. Dude, you might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I cap my comp for a reason. I actually cap my compensation as a broker at a pretty aggressive level because I want to help more people.
It's great.
And I have a really efficient operation. So like I can still have a very comfortable lifestyle, cover all costs and make a lot of money and help more people. And just talk about it. I talk to everybody I can about what we are doing. Like as the Loan Atlas community, what our vision is for the buyer experience and what the right thing to do is. That's what matters. I can tell you how much I made, but I mean, like, because I'm capping out, what I mean? I'm capping out my comp, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like I'm doing phenomenal professionally. I'm helping people. They're super stoked. So like it's a win. I honestly don't care what the volume is.
And I can tell you, I can just tell from your interactions here and all the interactions I have with you in the boot camps and the master classes we go to, you're a fulfilled dude. Like you're living on purpose in your life, having a lot of fun doing what you're doing. And bro, I can just tell you that like, this is the impact inside the mortgage industry that guys like Ryan, Tim Brahim, myself, like we just dream about having this type of impact. And the mortgage industry needs more people like Daryn Fillis.
Oh, thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. I'm going to leave it for you for any closing thoughts. If somebody's watching this, what advice or wisdom would you share with them for your closing thoughts?
Do the work. Just do the work. Like, and it may seem scary. And I would trust me, the first talk I gave, like I have experience talking in front of, like I've been on stages, like I've talked, but for the first time, I was nervous.
Because it's new content.
New content. So what does it make you do? Practice, 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 practice. And you guys teach that. So just practice. And we have technology. We can practice in front of a camera. Then it's game time footage. I gave the talk. It was successful. I'm getting business. I continue to do it and build off of it. It's like when you go to the gym, which I clearly haven't done in a while, and you feel the results and you see the results, you keep going back. You run the mile a few times, and you run 2 and then 3 and then 5, and you're doing a marathon. It's the same thing. So whatever your thing is that requires practice, whether it's cooking or art or making music or whatever it is, you don't just go out and play the Fifth Symphony on your first go. You got to sit down and like hit the wrong keys every once in a while. And that's great. So just do it. Do the work.
Do the work. As we say inside the Atlas, the genius is in the execution. Get after it. This has been brilliant, Daryn. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, my pleasure, dude. Thank you guys.